Michael Gomez, and I'm a real estate broker and an investor here in Nashville, Tennessee.
And I'm Seth Mosley, Grammy Award-winning songwriter and real estate investor.
We host a monthly meetup in Middle Tennessee for anyone who wants to build passive income, not only for retirement, but for today.
On the first Wednesday of every month, we bring in an expert from every area of investing to help you with things like finding deals, getting your financing locked in, asset protection, every kind of investing, so much more.
Our videos are all about delivering that content to you.
Go to musicandmoneyig.com for more info on our free monthly events. Hit subscribe on the page so you don't miss any awesome content, and hit that like button if you like it.
Don't let all the flair of my jacket distract you.
Here's the content.
So that's going to be fun. Hey, today we've got Rick Barker. Everybody ready for Rick? Hey, well, without further ado, let's just get him on up here. Everybody give a nice Music and Money Investors Group welcome to the one and only Rick Barker. I'll get your computer swapped out for you while you're getting set up. In case you guys missed last month, Rick is the former manager for Taylor Swift, one of my favorite artists. I'm not embarrassed to admit that. Maybe I should be, but I don't know. We'll see. So Rick is going to share today about the passive income blueprint, and I'll get your audio hooked up for you.
And if you've got my fingerprint, you'll be able to go wherever you want on the computer. Okay, so first off, being a believer, I think it's very important that we open in prayer. So God, please let me serve and not suck. Amen. Okay. I could suck really bad, so I always try to get that prayer out of the way ahead of time. There's a lot of people here that I haven't met, a lot of people that I know. Super excited. Seth has always recently just become a really big supporter. Keep in mind, when he says the one and only, you guys are also the one and only you. And that's what we're going to talk a lot about today. We're going to talk about how to take what it is that you know right now and turn it into cash. If that's okay, I'm going to share real numbers. I'm not going to do it to brag. I just want to show you what's available and what's out there. Are we cool with that? Everybody good? Okay. So I'm going to open up my Stripe account and say, hey, here's kind of what we've done this year. How many of you are business owners? Okay. How many of you are working virtual right now? Yeah, I just started that this week. Super excited about it. Got 10 hours a week back by not driving from Nolensville to Music Row. And it's absolutely changing the game for me. So some of the things that I want to share with you today is I'm going to go real quick on my story. How many of you know my story? A couple. Okay, so just act surprised. Okay? So it's like if there's a punchline to a joke, don't shout it out or anything like that. But basically for me, I'm 52 years old. I know I don't look a day over 51 and a half, but I am 52 years old. I've been sober for 27 years of my life, completely sober. 30 years from crack cocaine, 27 from alcohol and drugs. The reason I share that is not for applause, but it's to show you that I went from living homeless on the street, strung out on crack, to launching one of the biggest stars in the world. And the reason that I share that is a couple reasons. One is to remind you that your past does not define your future if you don't want it to. Also, two, is that your story can absolutely change someone's life. And a lot of times we're scared to tell our stories because of shame or fear or being judged. I just said it right in front of you guys and right in front of Facebook, and I haven't been voted off the island. No one put the flame out and asked me to leave. So your story can absolutely help someone. It also, too, is a lot of times there's some people that are going through a struggle in their life. And when they hear what you're sharing, it lets them know that it can be okay. It lets them know, because a lot of times when we're in our pain and when we're in our hurt, we think there's no way out. I'm here to show that you've got a way out. Your story is your story. You are the one and only you. So don't be afraid. I'm not saying everybody should just jump on stage and start airing their dirty laundry, but I want to let you know that it's okay. We're at a time right now where the stories are what people are investing in. I work a lot with musicians. I'm in the music space. I'm a manager. I manage over 150 artists in 18 different countries in 15 different genres of music. Some of you in the music business are going, how the heck can he do all that? I'll share that here in just a little bit. But what it is that I want to explain to each and every one of you is that what we're attracted to is the story. What I'm going to share with you with social media today is all about telling a story. It's all about entering that story where that person's at. I also come from divorced parents. My mom was married 5 times. My dad was married 5 times. In July 15th of this year, coming up in 2020, I will celebrate 20 years, beginning with the same person. So there's a lot of chains that we can break. So just because we feel we've been dealt certain situations, I grew up poor. I didn't finish high school. We were on food stamps, the free lunch program, and this year I'll do over $300,000, and I didn't graduate from high school. Excuses are just that. They're excuses. So get those out of your head. I can't. No, you can't. You can't think like that is what you can't. And stop thinking like that. Because a lot of times we are our own worst enemy, and the biggest thing that we have to overcome sometimes is ourself, which sucks because we're very powerful people. As human beings, we want to kind of go the easy way. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you a couple different things that I'm utilizing social media for. So the first thing I need y'all to do is pull out your phones, open up Instagram. Who doesn't have Instagram? Okay, download Instagram. But there's 600 million people active every day on Instagram. Okay. I know you don't get it, but I'm going to show you here in a second. Do you have a business? Then you get on Instagram. Do you have a pulse? Could be debatable. Yes, but you need to be on Instagram as well. Why? Because that's where your consumers are at. Whether you like it or not, it's not about you. That's what I tell the artists that I work with. The music's not about you. The music's about the person consuming it. The same thing with your product. It's not important to anyone until it's important to them. So what we have to do is find these people where they are. So go to Instagram and type in @RickBarkerMusic, just Rick Barker Music, and follow me. It's one way to pick up followers is you have the mic and you have the stage. I'm going to show you how to utilize Instagram here in a second. There's this thing called Instagram Story, Instagram Live, so I want you to know about that. How many of you have a business Facebook page? Okay, let's rephrase it. How many don't? Are you in those that raise your hand, are you in a business? Then let's get yourself a business Facebook page. The reason for that is, one, that's the only page that you can actually run ads from. You are going to want to run Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and I'll tell you why. It's very inexpensive. Once again, that's where people are hanging out. The cool part about ads that run on social media is you are actually getting them where they are. Unlike radio, where you hope they heard it, or TV, where you hope they saw it, or a billboard where you hope they drove by it, your ad, if you run it properly, you only get paid or charged when you actually do something with it, when the consumer does what you told them you want to do. So that's why it's really inexpensive real estate right now. So we're going to talk about social media today. We're going to talk about how many of you have written books. Awesome. How many of you would like to write a book or think you have a book in you? Okay, I wrote a book without ever writing a word. I just talked. And I live out in Nolensville. So when I first moved here in 2008, I would commute from Nolensville to Music Row, and we called it 25 minutes from Nashville. That was kind of like my little vibe. So I just put up the video recorder and I just talked. And usually I talk smack about stuff in the music industry, and I'm known as a solutions guy. I'm like unfiltered, but I'm a solutions person. You can be unfiltered if you can solve a problem. If you're unfiltered and you can't solve a problem, you're just an a-hole. So become a problem solver and you'll be okay. So someone came to me, so I would take that video and I would upload it to YouTube, and then I would strip the audio. I would send that link to a young lady. Her name was DePauli. For $4.44 an hour, from whatever country she was from, that was like making $15 an hour, she would transcribe that and it would become a blog. Someone came to me and said, can I take 10 of your blogs and combine it with 10 of mine and create a book? So my book's called The $150,000 Music Degree. The reason that it's called that is that was my salary when I was managing Taylor Swift. So everything I know about the music business, I know by doing. But what's great about having a book is, one, it makes people think you're smarter than you are. No, seriously, it does. Let me see here. It's a great lead magnet. So I've given away probably 8,000 copies of a digital version of a book to get an email address. And then once you have that email address, now you're able to start building relationships with people. I also did a free plus shipping offer on the book where people paid $4.71 US or $9.71 international, and I shipped out about 500 copies of a book. It's a great calling card when you're able to go to someone and say, hey, I'd love to speak at your event. I'm an author. Like, really? It just means something to people for whatever reason. All of you have a book in you. All of you have something to be able to provide to someone else. The reason I say that is if someone's on chapter 2 of a book and you're on chapter 3, do you think you can provide something to the person who hasn't gotten to where you are yet? That's the cool part about all of this stuff. There's a lot of experts out there. What all of us should become an expert in is saving people time, because that's the one thing that we can't get back. That's the one thing that we want to give to our families, that we want to give to our kids, that we want to give wherever. When I was approached to work with Taylor, my background's radio. So radio is what I did. I created a program called the Nashville to You Radio Tour, which was the first tour that got artists paid. I just asked a lot of questions. I always tell people, not usually the smartest dude in the room, but I'm going to ask the best questions. I asked these questions, solved this problem, created this program, took out bands you might have heard of like Sugarland and Little Big Town, and they went on to win Grammys. But we created this radio tour, put me on the radar of Scott Borchetta. He hired me to work at Big Machine Records. I asked him, why did you choose me? You could have picked anyone else. He says, because you were too dumb to know any better. I went, okay, that's a real interesting compliment if that's what it is. So what happened was I was living in Santa Barbara, in the wine country of Santa Barbara, up in the San Ynez Valley. If you ever saw the movie Sideways, that's where I lived. I was making about $75,000 a year. I would do radio in the morning, coach soccer in the afternoon, bartend at night. Anything I could to keep things going. So when he offered one job, making $85,000 a year with health insurance, my wife accepted the job before I did. And I said, well, what do you mean I'm too dumb to know any better? And he's like, well, we're starting this label with this guy named Jack Ingram, this 15-year-old named Taylor Swift that no one's ever heard of, and Danielle Peck. He said, everyone else will use it as a reason why it's going to fail. He said, you just kind of seem to go in one direction. I've always been a hustler. I've always, I started helping my mom. My mom worked 3 jobs. I started working at a young age to help provide for the family. I've always done what it is that I know what to do. All of you have a skill set that we can't teach you. There's certain things that each and every one of you have that's unique, that's different, based on the circumstances that you were brought up in, or whatever the case may be. Find what your superpower is. One of my superpowers is simplifying complicated issues. Maybe it's just because I didn't want to take the time to learn. In school, you saw my grades. If I liked it, I got an A. If I wanted to stay eligible for sports, I got a D. There was nothing in between. I either loved it or I needed to stay eligible. Find out what your true passion is. Find out what your superpower is. All of you have a superpower, and then you find the community and put your superpower on them. So for me in the music industry, I just kept asking a lot of questions, and I would solve these problems. So he hires me to work for Big Machine. He sends Taylor. I teach her radio, take her out on this tour that I'd done. 6 months later, her family asked me to be her manager, and my first answer was no. I said, I'm not qualified. I've never managed an artist before. And something that the dad said to me, which was very important, and if you don't take anything else from this, I want you to remember this, is he says, Rick, he says, you may not know the answers, but you're not afraid to ask for help. He said, a lot of people think not knowing is a weakness. He said, not knowing and not being willing to go out and get the answers is what the true weakness is. And today, guys, with Professor Google and Professor Siri and Professor Alexa, we can get the answers to anything that we need. Or we can go find someone who can get you those answers. So that's something that I want you to remember, is that just because we don't know, we are in the biggest time in our life for self-learning. Self-learning is absolutely amazing right now. I mean, I'm listening to a book on Audible. I don't read books. I bores me. I listen to a lot of books. So we've got Audible, we've got podcasts, we've got so many different ways for you to educate yourself, finding in your space. How many of you own your own website? Okay, please, all of you, go secure a website. That is the only property that you actually own. A lot of people are living on Facebook and LinkedIn. We don't own any of those properties. We can't retarget a lot of those. We can't put a pixel. There's a lot of technology stuff I'm going to talk to you about today. Just let that go right over your head. You can go Google search later what it is. But I'm going to show you some things. But your website is what you own. That's where you should be sending all your traffic. Because ultimately, we don't want subscribers and we don't want followers. We want emails. And the reason that we want emails is because now we control the conversation. We control, we call it the customer journey. It's like if someone comes in and is ready to buy a house. That's where I want all of you. Who are the real estate folks here in the... Okay, so let's just talk about agents. Agents, raise your hand. A couple agents. Okay. What I'm going to share with you with social media today is you need to get involved in the conversation before they type in real estate agents in Nashville. Once they type in real estate agents in Nashville, that's a whole list of people that are going to come up. What we try to utilize social media for in the beginning is for you to get in the conversation. So this is going to be a very interactive situation today. I want you guys to stop me at any time if you don't understand something. This is our time together. I'm not going to do a PowerPoint presentation. I've got nothing to sell you at the end. So those of you that got your butt cheeks all clenched up waiting for the offer, it's not coming. So you can go ahead and relax now. It's how we are as humans, especially after Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I sat out on my patio with a cigar. I knew every email list I'd ever signed up for would show up on that Thursday, Friday, and I'm just like, unsubscribe, 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 unsubscribe. It got real busy. So yes, nothing's going to be sold. So what I want you to think about, all of you, no matter what business you're in, how can we get into the conversation earlier before they decide to type in how to find a real estate agent? So what are some things that if someone's moving to, when I was moving from Santa Barbara to Nolensville, what do you think my wife and I were researching? Schools, areas, churches, especially coming to the South. What's that? Crime. Okay. Think about does everyone understand what SEO is? Search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is best coffee shops in Nolensville. It's everything that Yelp is. So when you can be the real estate agent, this is your friend. If you do not have a selfie stick, this weapon right here has made me thousands of dollars because it also doubles as a tripod. Okay? It travels well. It fits in your back pocket. It will get through TSA. You could just walk around neighborhoods and tell people about the things that we know they're going to be shopping in. By the way, what's your name? The one that just went, Okay, what's your last name? Okay. So, hey guys, let me take you today on a trip in Nolensville. What's really cool about Nolensville is they have this farmer's market on Saturday. And here's what's going on, and this is it, and blah, 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 and this is the coffee shop, and this. And by the way, if you're looking for a home, I'm Amanda Lucas. I would love to show you around Nolensville. So you go in, and you go to all these different little towns, and you put that stuff up on Facebook. And then what you do is you start running ads to that. $5, $10. You can run quick little ads to kind of get your name around there. What's something I'm going to show you here in a second is called, it's crazy. It's called micro-targeting. Who's the lenders? Got some lenders in here. Okay. When do people start considering that they need money? Okay. So basically, when do people drink beer? All the time, right. So do you think Budweiser runs ads to tell people about this brand new beer company called Budweiser? Or do you think it's to remind them when they're thirsty and they want a beer, they should drink a Bud? Same thing you should be doing. So here's what happens. So I live in over in Bennington, in Nolensville. one of the things that you could do is you could run an ad just to everyone. You could type in an address and you could put it within a little mile and you drop these little pins. I'm going to show you real quick how to do that. You could have a personalized message saying, hey, good morning. Hope things are going well in Bennington today. Wanted to let you know that if you're thinking of selling your house right now, the interest rates are what I'm making stuff up right now because I'm not in your business, but I'm just making it up. When you're ready to start looking for an interest rate, go ahead and hit me up. And it just shows to everyone in Bennington. It doesn't show to everyone in Nashville. You can micro-target to a specific area to have specific conversations with those people. Think about being able to run an ad to everyone who's in Bridgestone Arena at the Predators game and have it run. Hey, hope you're enjoying the Preds game. By the way, interest rates just went down today. That's right. Interest rates just went down. Now you're having conversations with people, and the ad is only running to those people that you've identified inside of Bridgestone Arena. That's like scary. When you're talking to somebody about the Preds game, what do people do at intermissions of sporting events? Check their phones. FOMO is a very contagious and serious disease. For those of you that don't know FOMO, it's fear of missing out. How many of you realize that the cell reception inside Nissan Stadium sucks? Yeah, go to a concert, but people are going to walk into they'll get up and they'll get into that area to get to that best cell reception. Why not have us show up when they're doing that? Nobody's teaching that right now. But that's the ability that we have. We need to get into the conversation where they're having the conversation. Right now, you've been in your house for a couple years. You could even take the back streets of Bennington that we know that they've had their houses now for 2 and 3 years and go, thinking about refinancing? Whoa, you could limit it to the number of streets. There's so many different things that you can do with micro-targeting. I'll show you here in a second. Is this okay that I'm sharing the technical stuff? Because this is the stuff that makes the difference right now. It's like everyone else is boosting a post. No, you woke up, you got here through traffic to get here at 8 a.m. We're going to go ninja. We're going to go with some of the deeper stuff. How many of you right now, this is honesty, okay? No one's judging. How many of you despise social media? Yeah, why? Curious. He looked at you to talk. I was looking at him, but he looked at you. Is the catch box around here? Someplace? Go ahead. He looked at you, ma'am, so I'm not going to question him. Okay, so people being judged that no one could live up. Yeah, okay. So here's the thing. Social media was designed for friends to stay in contact with each other. The problem is marketers got a hold of it and ruined it for everyone. So the thing is this, is that right now, here's the cool part about social media. Not every single one of your posts gets seen. There's this guy, his name's Al, his last name's Go Rhythm. I've never met him. But this algorithm guy is getting blamed for a lot of things. So what the algorithm says is this. What's your name, ma'am? Sunny? Sonia. Okay. If Rick keeps posting on Facebook and Sonia doesn't, they're going to stop showing it to her. Because Facebook has one goal. Do we know what that goal is? Keep you on the site. Why? To sell ads, to shop. How many people woke up and said, you know what, I'm going to go to Facebook and go shopping today? It's what happens every day. Billions and billions of dollars. So what they're going to do is say, hey, we're going to do everything that we can to keep somebody on this site. So if they show that they don't engage, we're not going to show them that stuff. What's your name? Yes, ma'am. Monica. But if Monica's doing a live video, most of us will stay longer for live videos. So Facebook's like, we're going to reward Monica. So if Monica's going to get rewarded for doing a live video, Monica, what business are you in? Real estate. So what if Monica is going on there and sharing very complicated terms that are driving buyers crazy because they don't understand it, and she becomes the solutions person without ever asking them to list their house? If they see Monica showing up week after week, solving their problems, answering their questions, who do you think is going to be the first person that they reach out to when they're ready to buy a home? Monica is the exact correct answer. Yes, ma'am. You are absolutely correct. That's what I want you guys to realize. You have the ability to be their friend, their superstar. You could build brand awareness right now, like Budweiser, reminding them, when you're ready to buy a home, come to the person that's been answering your questions. Why do you think we do podcasts? Because we like to commit every week to having to come up with something unique to say? No, because we're just constantly reminding people, you know what? That guy's always answering my questions. That girl's always got the answer. She's making stuff so simplified. People are fear when they buy houses. How many people, the lenders again, it's one of the worst. It's like, all day. I got to go in and answer. Let me simplify the process that if you do this, this, and this before you come to me, I'll get you out of there in an hour. Who's not going to watch that video? Those are the things that I want you guys to think about. I want you to think, how can you solve problems in your space? Anybody have questions, comments, concerns? Yes, ma'am, right here in the front.
We got the mic right here for you. I'm not going to throw this one at you because the catch box is not working today. There you go.
Good morning. I've heard that starting your video on LinkedIn has some benefit to it rather than launching it from like Facebook or Instagram.
Really depends. You need to just put your video where your audience is located. So if I'm trying to reach musicians, how many of them do you think are hanging out on LinkedIn? Not many. You might be wanting to reach people that are on LinkedIn. The cool part about LinkedIn right now is all of you should be utilizing these strategies because it's free real estate. Because with a video on LinkedIn, it looks like a blog. But here's the thing, not everyone sees it. But when you can run ads to it. See, the reason I like Facebook is it's the biggest. Because if I go into Facebook, Facebook remembers more about me than I remember about me. This morning, I was reminded where I was 9 years ago. I fried these brain cells in the 80s. I don't remember where I was 9 years ago, but Facebook remembers. Do you know Facebook knows you're here right now? If you're logged in to your face, that's how we can do the micro-targeting. So let's take advantage of their spy techniques. That's all we're doing is utilizing. So I think the thing with social media is you need to go provide, wherever you can provide value, that's where you want to be. Most of you can get away with Instagram, Facebook, owned by the same company, and LinkedIn. I say don't forget about Twitter right now while Trump's still in office because everybody's showing up there every day just to see what he said. So while he's still around, Twitter's really good too. But for local, let's go Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn on the business side. Just remember, it's about your consumer. Where are they hanging out? How can we get into their conversations? Socials is the best way to do that right now. Until McDonald's and everybody starts showing up and raises the prices, we can get really good results right now. Seth and I both host webinars. Him on the songwriting side, me on the management side. Most businesses right now are willing to pay between $12 to $20 for one email address or a lead to a webinar. We're getting ours for under $4 because we've been able to really fine tune who it is that we're looking for. So just keep in mind that these are just tools. If you don't like something about something, then don't do what you don't like. If you don't like to be on social media because everyone's talking about themselves, then guess what? Don't go on there and talk about yourselves. Provide some kind of value if you can. Questions? Yes, sir, in the top, the man with the full head of hair.
Is that you?
I'm not as witty as Michael, but I try. Without the cool accent.
So I have a question about negative targeting on pixel ads or anything that you might do.
Okay.
Have you seen any success where that actually works? One of the things that I've actually struggled with is the negative part of pixel ads because I can't eliminate, and I think they group it all together, but I'm not really sure.
Okay, when you say negative ads, I don't know what you mean by negative ads.
So you can target,
yes,
but you can also target who you don't want.
Yes, you could exclude people.
That's right.
Yeah,
exclusion. So I guess my question would be, does it actually work on exclusions of negative markets that you don't want to attract?
Yes. So what happens, for example, there's a lot of countries, and I say this respectfully, there's a lot of countries that you can get clicks, but they're not really people. They're like bots and things like that. So you can exclude certain countries. You could say, I want to target everyone here, but I want to exclude. So for example, I can target anyone who's visited my website in the past 180 days. Let's say that's an example. I can upload people who've purchased my program, and I can create a custom audience out of that, and I can exclude that. So if that email address that I uploaded into Facebook is the same email address that they have associated with their Facebook account, they won't show it to them. So there's a lot of things that have to line up, but yes, it can be done. We can exclude, right now I exclude people over 65, but I really can't help somebody on the management side. At 65, I'm taking them to try to get their music and film and television or write better songs with Seth. I'm not going to go out and try to teach them how to go build an audience and do all this stuff that they hate to do. That's just not my audience. Here's the problem that we have sometimes is that we try to feed everyone. I don't care how good your hamburger stand is. If you open it up in a town of vegetarians, you screwed yourself. We're trying to feed everyone everything that we have. So the exclusions are great. So I want to go find people that are hustlers, that are motivated, that know that there's work that needs to be done, people that are willing to invest. The freebie seekers, I love the fact when we could eliminate people based on how much money they made or whether they owned a home. A lot of that went away. So there's a lot of that real micro-targeting that disappeared. So I try to exclude however I can because I only want to get to the person that I need to get to. I don't need to resell myself to the person who's already bought my program. So do you run your own Facebook ads or do you have a company that does it for you?
No, I run them myself.
Yeah, sometimes you may want to just take a listen. For those of you that are interested in Facebook ads, which should be all of you, I want you to listen, write this down. It's a podcast called Perpetual Traffic. Perpetual Traffic. Actually, the producer of the Perpetual Traffic podcast, Darren Clark, is from out in Spring Hill. This is digital marketers podcast, and Ralph Burns and Molly Pittman are fantastic. You will get the greatest education in the world when it comes to Facebook ads because of that. While we're on that subject, let me just go here real quick and show you how to do the micro-targeting real quick. So inside your ads manager, you're going to go to audiences. You're going to click create an audience. You're going to call it a saved audience. So down here in the location, I can get rid of that. I can type in Nolensville, Tennessee. I can drop this pin. So here's Nolensville. I can type in 409. If anybody wants to come to my house, this is my address. But your audience location has been changed from Nolensville to Oldenburg. So then up here where you see it says 10 miles, that's too big if I'm wanting to have a conversation to everyone that lives in Bennington Place. So what you do is you just click on this and you take it down to 1 mile. You drag another pin. You can go drop a pin anywhere, and you can get this all the way over to Nolensville Road. You can get it to Sunset. You can surround it with these little pins and then run ads into that area, having very specific conversations. You can do that with any address. It happens a lot if you're like at Gaylord and you're at a convention and somebody will say, we're going to circle this convention center. It's a real estate convention, and somebody who wants to hit real estate agents, they're going to hit hard on it. So that's how you do it, is you drop a pin, you increase it, you look at your roads, you make it completely cover it, and then you go down and pick the rest of the thing. I'm not going to teach you how to run Facebook ads, but that's how you micro-target. You can drop pins, surround it, shrink it, move it, makes it very well. Yes, sir.
1 second. Here you
Yep.
go. So everybody can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Do you have to be at the event to micro-target, or can you just know that that's happening and micro-target?
If you know the date that the event's going to happen, you can run an ad to, let's say there's a real estate convention in Austin, Texas.
Yes.
You can pick the date. This is when I want my ad to run. This is when it's going to happen. You do not physically have to be in the building.
Oh, that's cool.
That is scary. Yeah. Okay. Oh, good.
That was similar to mine, Rick. So the mobile app on the Facebook picks up where you are or where your home is.
Where you are.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like check-in. You know how you have it says, hey, Seth just checked in to, the Mockingbird Theater. It's always, unless you turn it off. Most people don't turn it off. It's not going to get every single person, and it's not all going to come at the same time. It really depends. There's a lot that goes into Facebook ads. So I run video views just because they're inexpensive. I can get them for 2 and 3 cents, and I only get charged when we hit certain things. So if I do a quick little video, plus I subtitle all my videos so I can say go to rickbarker.com. I get that said in the video, so it's cheap. But if I give a learn more button and go to rickbarker.com, they're going to charge me money because I'm trying to get it. But I'll even talk in there. So you just want to create these things eye-catching, get their attention, move right into the place. Right now, I'm walking down the street getting people to come to my webinar, and I go, oh, this is Garth Brooks' place. I name drop like crazy if I can. It's like, hey, this studio, this is the end of the year. You're really doing this. We just want to talk specific to them. But all of you should find someone, if you don't want to learn it yourself, to try some Facebook ads. Right behind you. Oh, go wherever. If you got it.
Awesome, thank you. And hi, guys, my name is JP. I actually run Facebook ads. But
ta-da! Yep. And I only take a 20% commission from all the business that JP is going to get.
Thank you for the lead generation, Rick. I appreciate it. But I did have a question regarding to what you were doing. So it looked like for your ebook online, you were going through ClickFunnels.
Yes.
And I wanted to hear your opinion on using ClickFunnels versus the native platform on Facebook, for capturing leads, because there's an autofill-in, as you know.
Well, there is an autofill-in, and that's a great question. So what he's talking about right now is there's this thing called a lead ad. And with a lead ad, it will automatically fill out the information that they currently have, that Facebook has. So your first name again? JP. So when JP clicks on my book, if it already has JP's email, it can go in and fill it in. What's happening right now? A lot of complaints because people are unsubscribing and then reporting it as spam, going, I never signed up for this list. So here's the thing. You can either get cheap leads, or you can get qualified leads. I want someone who's going to take the time to put in their information. Also, I can track what happens with ClickFunnels. I am a ClickFunnels person, by the way. I run my whole entire business through ClickFunnels. I like the ability to have that. No one that I know and no one in the digital marketing space is having success right now. I'll always test something, though. I always say test it. But right now, who are the musicians in here? Okay. Most of them are cheap. Most of them feel entitled. Most of them call themselves starving artists. Most of them want the cheap. Most of them, it's just, that's not the person I can help. So I'm not going to try to make something easy for someone. I want the people that are willing. I want it to be hard. I'll tell you why I want it to be as hard as possible, because the weak will quit. It's too noisy and crowded out there right now. I need the weak ones to get out of the way so that the strong ones can make it. It's like my mother-in-law right now could put a song up on iTunes this afternoon. That's scary. Nana can't sing. But Nana can get in the way. And that's the thing, is there's a lot of artists that are in the way right now. There's a lot of people in your space that are in the way right now. So we want to make it as hard as possible to get it. But that is a cheap way. That's what they thought. But they're expensive too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir, in the back with your hand up. Are we doing okay on time? Go ahead, sir.
Thanks. So earlier this year, Facebook rolled out the special ads category for housing and credit opportunities. So with the micro-targeting, how do we get around that if we want to do housing?
I have no
ads?
idea what that means because I don't run ads in that space.
Okay.
So what are the restrictions?
Well, Like, you can't do a pin in an area. It has to be at least 15 miles radius. You can't do age and gender. And it really kind of sucks because they limit.
So how do they know that you're running ads for a house?
Their algorithm will read. I was just testing it yesterday. I did an ad that got approved, and then I did an ad that said, I think, vacant land buyer, and then it said I needed to select a special ad category. So I was just curious if you had any insight on a way to get around that.
I don't, because I don't run Facebook ads in that space, but I would take away. So here's what's funny. I was teaching people how to use Instagram, and my ad didn't get approved, because I couldn't mention Instagram a certain number of times. But I had an ad where I was doing a whiteboard training and I talked about Instagram all the time, and it did get approved. So I would just try it a couple different ways. And if you see that anytime I mention land or ownership or things like that, don't mention land or ownership. I would test it, because there's always a workaround around almost everything. That's why I said I'd be curious if you're running ads. That's why it's like, here's the thing too, is that I just want to get people to click the video. So I'm not going to put anything that I think is going to be a hindrance for them not to click the video. I just want them to say, can you believe what this guy just said? They won't let you run that. It's clickbait. Did she do Post Malone's cover video? There's anything that's clickbait. These are the 3 questions that people keep asking when it comes to blank. You can get away with that, and people will get it. So if you're going to talk about what's another thing, what you want to do is just get creative. I always tell people, start becoming a detective. It's like, okay, what's another way to say this without saying this? So the 3 things that most people ask me when it comes to blank. The 5 things you must have in place before sitting down with blank. Those are the ones that people want to see what's going on, and then have it in your video, because they may not watch every single video.
Yeah, and I can speak from experience too. Just even the fact that our meetup is called Music&Money Investors Group, Facebook sometimes has penalized us in terms of not letting us run certain ads. But there's always a workaround. It's just change up the creative, like he was saying, or change your title, or change your image, or maybe you do a video with a whiteboard, like he was saying. There's always definitely a workaround. It's just, like he was saying, a little bit of trial and error. So, and I'm sure other Facebook ad ninjas would probably say the same thing as well too. Back to Rick.
Now back to our regularly scheduled program, already in progress. Let me jump in here real quick. I want to pull up my Instagram on the phone. Questions? We had other ones coming around.
Got any?
Okay, so let me tell you guys what my business is now. What my business is that I speak all over the world every single day on Facebook, on Instagram. I have a worldwide audience because I use the tools that are readily available. The musicians that I work with, I tell them, you have an audience every day all over the world. You have a venue. No gas, don't have to pay anybody else. You get to go and meet these people. People are starting to make money. So I personally manage artists all over the world. I teach in the music space. I have a podcast that comes out every Monday. I have what's called my management programs. It's the Backstage Pass, All Access Pass. So here's what my fear was. I was doing coaching and mentorship, and it was a tough sell to get musicians to buy coaching and mentorship. I was offering them coaching and mentorship because everyone thought that the manager should only get paid if the artist gets paid. Well, guess what? Most artists never get paid. First couple years of an artist's career, they're usually in debt. On one of my webinars, I teach this. So I was sharing all this stuff. So one of my people that I pay to coach me, he was looking at one of my landing pages, and he's like, Rick, why is it, he said, do they use the terms coaching and mentorship inside? And I said, in the music business? I said, no. He said, what do they want? I said, they want management. He said, why don't you give them management? I said, because then they want me to be their day-to-day manager. He says, no, you tell them what you're offering, and then it's up to them whether they want to do this. I went, interesting. So I started thinking to myself, and I said, okay, there's 2 types of managers. There's a day-to-day manager, and there's a personal manager. In my situation, I was both. Most of the time, it's both people. What takes all the time is the hand-holding, the calendar, the picking up the stuff. I said, but wait, strategy, big picture, accountability, door opening. This is the stuff that people really want. I made that switch, and I started offering management. Here's what's funny about that. My course didn't change. The services that I was providing didn't change. The wording changed. Write this down. Stop trying to make people do what they're not going to do. No matter how hard we try, we need to meet them where they are. So all of a sudden, I go and I offer management. Like, how did that do for you? Did really well, actually. So what I did is I raised my prices. I took away my refund. Ooh, I got a better customer. I got a better client. I went and told the people on my email list, I need better clients. I need people, for those of you that don't understand music, I apologize for this analogy. I wanted people to treat me like the Martin guitar that they spent $5,000 on, that they take pride in, not the Fender Squire that's got the same set of strings that it's had for 3 years that they pick up when their buddies come and they get drunk and they play. If those that pay attention, but if you don't pay enough, you let it go by. So one of my mentors says, Rick, you keep raising your price until they do the work. I went, ooh, that's good. He goes, $100 doesn't mean anything to somebody. Stop trying to be everything for everyone, or you're going to be nothing for no one. I went, okay, that makes sense. So I raised my prices, took away my routine, made the same exact offer. All I did was go in and change. I sell through webinars. I sell through slides. I'll show you that here in a second as well. And then all I did is I went on Instagram. So this isn't actually going to go live, but this is a platform I use called Zoom. I like Zoom because I can start the webinar and do it in a practice mode. So inside Instagram, up at the top, so on your home page, you see up top, hello, V. Larson. See across the top where you see my picture? Hold on one second. This guy right here? Instagram. This is why you want to be on Instagram, sir. Instagram is the only social media platform that will notify every single one of your followers when you go live. Okay? How many of you are following me on Instagram right now? Hold your phones out. Scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to go live. Hey guys and gals, here we are at the Music, Money, and Investors Group. Let me show around. Everybody wave. How many of you raise your hand when you get notified? Now lower your hand when you get notified that I went live. How crazy, right? How many followers do you have? But that's what they said. They showed you. That's super powerful. Okay, so right now, what's up? Guitar music. I wave. Here's the coolest thing too. So now we got 13 followers. Chad's here. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to click on Chad. And when I click on Chad, it says go live with Chad. So when I go live with Chad, Chad walked to the top so we don't get any feedback. Now what's going to happen is all Chad's fans are going to be notified that he's live. So I've just created a lookalike audience in real time. Just accept it. There he is. Yeah, ladies, it's Chad, ladies. So here we are. So right now, all of a sudden, you saw my numbers went up because now we've got twice the audience. So Chad and I are able to have a conversation. We're able to do this stuff. What's up? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. Chad, go ahead and drop off. So John Kern Music. So John is in Canada. So I'll check in with John real quick. So every time you bring people on, so here's what I did. You too. I see you making faces, so we'll show you right now. If anyone is in the witness protection program and not supposed to be here, just kind of duck out real quick. What's up, John?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Say hi to everybody in Franklin, Tennessee today. Okay, so he's outside of Toronto. So, Michael, it's very cold where he's at. So we have a Dominican who's crying because it's so cold, but we'll get him up there. Man, I just wanted to show everybody what's going on. Matt DeLong, what's up, brother? Ryan's here. So when you're able to say hi to people and they bring on, all right, I got to go. See ya. Bye. Talk to you later. All right. He's a client, so it's easy. So here's what I did one night. I sat out by the fire, put this on that little tripod that you saw, and I had a light. And all I did was answer questions. Guys, ask me anything you want about the music business. I'm here to answer your questions. I did that for 3 days in a row. Didn't make an offer, didn't try to sell anything. What's up, Pottersfield Music? Then on the third day, I said, hey, I happen to have this box of books that I just purchased. If you guys want one, just pick up the shipping, I'll cover the rest. I sold 200 books in 48 hours. But what was even more interesting on that is that I had an upsell. What's up? I had an upsell for my coaching. Basically everything I was doing for those 3 days. So if you're just sitting around doing nothing, just pull out your phone. Start talking to people. What's up, DJ Cool YC? All right, listen, I got to go. Talk to you guys later. Bye. All right, so I just hit end. It says, are you sure you want to end it? End now. I had 55 people. About 60 people here, 55 there. I didn't have to leave. I had a worldwide audience. I could have gone on and provide some kind of value for them. The more you do this, the more value you bring. Do I want to share it to my story? Sure, whatever. Okay. So then here's the next thing that's super cool. So up in the top, see the airplane? Who did that? That was awesome. Who's my laser pointer? Dude, you're the man. We're going on tour together. Okay, so when you click on that, hello, Stacy. Stacy's front row. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. So I'm going to go down. This absolutely changed the game for me. Okay, so if somebody follows you, you click the little heart down at the bottom. Where you at, laser pointer? Heart at the bottom. Thank you. All right. Dom, are you here? Dom? Okay, so I'm going to follow Dom. I'm going to go leave a message to Dom. Now, if I just click leave a message to Dom, I can only type that message. What I want to do is this. I want to go to his page now. I want to go to message. I want to click the little camera. Hey, Dom, it's Rick, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to give me a follow. Hopefully we can connect one day. See ya. Keep in chat. Send. How personal do you think that is, that it took 3 seconds for you to acknowledge somebody? You know, so here's what we started testing. How fast we could get them from thank you to email. Do you know how much easier it is to get an email address when you say, if I say it and Dom hits back, says, hey, Rick, man, thanks so much for following. By the way, have you grabbed a copy of my book yet? No, I haven't. Here's a link. Go grab it. Boom. We're in. That's the way I want you guys to think about social media. I want you to think about what value can you bring to the conversation. Get involved in as many conversations as you can and bring value. And when it's time, then you make the offer. So what I like to do, and this is just me, and I want you to flip it to whatever it is that you do, Facebook groups. We've all heard of them, right? Go inside the Facebook groups where people are asking questions and just go in and answer their questions. Hey, I'm really confused about this. Here's basically all it means. And if you're looking, no, we don't go there yet. First date, we're not going to try to name the children that we haven't had yet because, we just need to date people. Let's date. Be okay getting involved in the conversations, answering some questions. Here's the cool part. I go into these music groups and I answer questions. Well, guess what? My profile name's Rick Barker Music. Oh, this guy might be in music. When they click on my profile, guess what? My bio is set up properly for optimization. That's the process that I want you guys to think about. My whole goal is to get people to my website. That's the only goal that I have. So here's what I offer. We call it a value ladder. My free is my podcast, my YouTube channel. It just kind of shows that I kind of know what I'm talking about. I got them all fooled, by the way. Okay, so we know what we're talking about. We're the expert. All of you are an expert in something, so you're going to get the value ladder. Then the next step up is I give them a free copy of my book. They can either get it digital, which downloads, by the way, I get an email, or they can do the free plus shipping. By the way, I get money and an email at that point. The next offer is that they get invited to a free training. And in that free training, I will make them an offer that is $297 normally, $197. Get them into that. The next offer is my coaching, and that's either $1,000 or $2,000. So there's this value ladder. So instead of just going for the kill, we kind of take them up the value ladder. So when I switched everything over to management, this is the last thing that I'm going to show you. When I switched everything over from management, let me get rid of this real quick. Are we okay on time? Are you guys cool with this? Are we good?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
End meeting for all. Thank you. Let me just go to ClickFunnels. We'll do this. So inside ClickFunnels, I also like this ads land, Brian. Be good, man. Happy holidays to you. Okay. Let me go here. Let me go funnels. Let's go. So this management assessment, I let everybody come in, kind of take the management assessment. Let me go to the stats. So on October 28th, I guess your power cord isn't working. So I'm about to run out of battery, it says. Here we go. So real quick, so let me go starting October. We'll just go, it was September 28th. Excuse me, there we go. September 28th. To October, we'll just go, we did it. We'll just put the end of October. No. $87,000 a month. Okay, that started with free. That invited people to a webinar. The cool part about this is I had 65 people who ended up coming in at that $2,000 offer with no refund. I was like, holy crap. But here's the way I look at things for my business. As long as people keep having babies that want to be famous, I never run out of a potential audience. So you guys keep having sex. I'm good. You're good. I mean, so what I have to do, though, is that there's no shortage of people out there trying to get their attention. So I have to provide that value, and that's what I want all of you to do. If you're a lender, you know the questions that they're thinking. So why wait till they get that answer from somebody else? You can be that person. Every single day, if you don't run a podcast, do a podcast. Well, Rick, there's thousands of podcasts. No, there's millions. But you send it to the audience that you want to hear it. Yes, ma'am.
Does Instagram have microtargeting?
You do it through Facebook, and then if you keep your videos small enough, under a minute, you can also run that ad on Instagram, owned by the same company. They're going to open more of that up. Like today, this afternoon, I'm talking to the folks at TikTok, and everybody's wanting to be Little Nas X now. I'm like, dude, he's been doing that for 3 years. But what I'm doing for TikTok is I'm asking them, can I provide the education piece to all these young artists that are on your platform? I'm not going to them saying, hey, do you want to become an affiliate partner and sell my stuff? I'm going, no, how can I serve your community? How can I provide value? I do free question and answers on CD Baby's Facebook page. I just go provide value, build brand, and then when the time is right, they're going to know I got an offer. Why? Because when you go to my website was designed for one reason and one reason only: to capture leads. And first thing they do when they get there, are you ready for a manager? Boom, click on it. Ta-da, here we go. Go to the assessment, get your information, go grab a book. You saw what happens there. I've got my podcast. We're not ready yet, but they can listen to one of my podcasts. They can go into my articles. If you go into my resources, don't click on this bottom one just now because he really doesn't have a webinar that's happening. But after today, we'll have some cool. So I've got resources. Everything that I do, it's like in my articles. The articles, if you open it up, guess what it is? It's just my YouTube channel. But here's what happens. I don't want to send them to YouTube. I can't pixel them on YouTube. I send them to my website where I get to pixel them. So here's the cool part about this. Not only do I get credit when they play the video for the YouTube view, I keep them longer on my site. So if you want, because they may look up lenders in Nashville, and if you're providing value on your website and you can keep them there for a long time and they say, okay, your name again, sir? Billy Brown. Billy Brown. My name's Billy Brown. Do you need $1? No. Okay, so when they're watching Billy's video, they're sitting there going, wow, when people go to Billy's page, they stay there for like 6 or 7 minutes. That's going to up your SEO score. So that's why I send everybody to my page. They're like, Rick, why wouldn't you just send them to YouTube? Because I don't own YouTube. I own my website. That's where you want to, like I said, I could talk all day about this stuff. I just wanted to, I'm not, like I said, not here to sell anything. Don't ask me to coffee to pick my brain. That's just, I don't do that anymore. I call it pick my pocket. But we can figure out ways. I do all this stuff on the music space. All you have to do is just swap it for your space. It's the same, so I'll get set to send out some links to some free webinars and trainings and stuff like that. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Going back to the email, you stressed how important it was to capture that email. So it seems to be more of the options available to us to reach our audience, the oldest.
Yes.
Or maybe the least. I mean, you even mentioned how you sat there and unsubscribed. So what are you doing to get your email opened?
So I do a trick on the first time to get my email open. First thing I do is if I'm offering them a digital book, I have it automatically set up to go out 2 hours later that says, hey, just quickly hit reply back and let me know you got the book. Soon as they hit reply back, they're whitelisted because they've had an engagement with you. That's something that I learned at a thing. Here's the thing too. No images inside of your emails. Don't make them look like newsletters. Our brains shut off as soon as we see a picture. We think someone's trying to sell something. Customer journey is how we take them. So whatever it is that you offered them, make sure that you send that to them right away. Hey, just wanted to make sure you had this. Then the next day, by the way, last year I did this event where I was speaking on this. And a lot of my clients have these questions. I wanted to share this video piece with you. Boom. Now you provide a little value. Next page. By the way, it's this time of the year as we're getting ready to winterize our houses. I wanted to go ahead and let you know the 5 things you need to do to make sure to get your house winterized. And then on the 4th one, you invite them to something where you're trying to sell them. So the thing is providing value. The reason that I was unsubscribing from everyone is because at that point, I don't need any more Groupon goods. I've seen enough of them. I've seen enough of this other stuff. So I just wanted to basically go out and clean out my stuff. But I don't ever if someone provides value, do you kick them out of your house? Not unless they're become a jerk off or something. So as long as we're providing value, the biggest problem is most of the time you don't send emails because you think you don't have anything to talk about or to sell. If you're a band, you don't think you have anything to promote. All we want to do is be involved in as many conversations as we can, and then when the time is right, bring up. I also segment my emails to make sure that I'm talking to the right person at the right time. But emails, like I tell the artist, outside of your music, your website and your email list are the things you own the most. That's where the money's going to be made. I don't use my social posts to try to sell. I use my ads to try to sell. I use my posts to build brand and to build credibility. Too often we're trying to sell in the wrong places, in my opinion. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
As a musician, you say it's important to grow your YouTube. Does YouTube do advertising and micro?
Yeah, they're called Google AdWords. They do that. Basically, YouTube, the only reason that you want to be there is because it's a search engine. And that's why I have artists do cover songs in their own style, but they give you a lot of real estate in order to add. But you could have a video in front of, you could have 10-second videos, 15-second videos that show up in front of somebody else's video. You could say, I want to be in front of Chad's video. If people are going to watch his video and I'm like, hey, you're here checking out Chad's course. Before you do that, by the way, his video is awesome. My name's Rick Barker and I used to manage Taylor Swift. And if you're looking to be an artist, I would love to manage you. Click here to find out more. 15 seconds, boom, it's done. But yeah, you can run ads in front of there as well. They're called pre-roll. Okay, first off, let me apologize for not talking a lot about real estate or how to do all that crazy stuff. I just can only talk about what I know, which is building relationships. That's basically all I focus on, is how do we serve others. That's what I want you to think about, is how can you get into conversations and serve other people? The money will come. It really will. Problem is a lot of times we ask for the money too soon, and we'll get there when it comes. What's cool this year, like I said, is that every time I want, I can send out an email and make $10,000 because I've taken the time to build the relationships. I know exactly what it is that they want. So once you can start building those little tools, but for all of you in the real estate side, our markets are booming right now. Think about the conversations that are going on right now before they need you. Get involved in those conversations. Want to say thanks to Michael and Seth for allowing me to come rattle your ears this morning. Thank you, guys.
Let's put it together for Rick.
So
Barker.
good, my friend. I love it.
Hey, thanks for learning with us today on the show.
We would love to meet you at one of our free monthly meetups in Middle Tennessee.
Hit the thumbs up button if you like the content. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing on this channel.
Check out another awesome investing video here.